My love, I'm coming to your city soon, and there's something you need to know. This isn't a casual visit, it's not a casual visit. It's not a random trip. When I decide to move towards something, it's intentional. I don't cross distances for entertainment. I move with purpose. And when I say I'm coming to your city, understand that I've already calculated the risk, the timing, the impact. Because proximity changes everything. There's a difference between imagining something and standing in front of it. There's a difference between digital connection and real presence. Energy shifts when two people occupy the same space. Truth becomes clearer, intentions become visible, and excuses disappear. I do not move without intention. Every decision to travel, to shift focus, to step into a new environment carries weight. Time is finite. Energy is finite. Attention is finite. When I choose to direct all three toward a person, it is not impulse. It is evaluation followed by execution. If I am coming to your city, it is because I see potential that justifies proximity. Potential is not about fantasy. It is about signals, consistency in communication, alignment in values, similar tolerance for pressure, comparable hunger for growth. I look for patterns, not moments. Anyone can perform well in isolated instances. I am interested in sustained character. Most people treat time casually. They drift into situations without asking whether the investment makes sense long term, but long term thinking changes how you approach everything. You stop chasing stimulation and start building strategy. You stop asking how this feels today and start asking what this becomes in 5 years. When I allocate time to close distance, it means I have analyzed opportunity cost. What am I not doing by doing this? What am I postponing? What am I reallocating? And if after that analysis I still move forward, it means the upside outweighs the risk. That is how you should approach your life as well. Do not move toward anything without clarity about why it matters. If you are going to invest your time, invest it where growth is possible. Invest it where growth is possible. Invest it where the return is not just emotional excitement, but expansion. Potential is magnetic when it is real. It creates focus. It eliminates distraction. When I see potential, I do not hesitate endlessly. I test it. I bring it closer to reality. Because potential that is never tested remains theoretical. And theory does not build futures. There's also something powerful about physical commitment. Distance creates comfort. You can stay abstract. You can maintain plausible deniability. You can operate in imagination. But when you decide to enter someone's environment, you are signaling seriousness. You are saying this matters enough for me to step into your world. That kind of movement demands internal certainty. It demands that you are not just entertained, but convinced. Because proximity intensifies everything. Strength becomes stronger. Weakness becomes visible. Ambiguity disappears, which leads to the second truth. Presence reveals reality. Digital connection is efficient. It allows ideas to travel instantly. It allows conversations to flow across time zones, but it also allows projection. People fill in blanks with idealized versions of each other. They interpret tone through mood. They imagine chemistry through words. Presence removes imagination and replaces it with evidence. When two people share the same physical space, subtle signals emerge. Body language, timing, eye contact, silence, how someone responds when plans shift unexpectedly, how they treat strangers, how they carry themselves when they are not performing. These details are data points, and data refines decisions. If I am stepping into your city, it is because I am ready to gather real data, not to judge superficially, but to understand deeply. Do we operate at the same speed? Do we handle pressure with similar composure? Does conversation flow naturally or feel forced? Is there mutual respect beneath attraction? Presence tests authenticity. You cannot hide energy in person. You cannot edit your reactions. You cannot delay your responses to craft the perfect line. Real-time interaction reveals who you actually are, and that is powerful. Most people fear this stage because it removes illusion. But illusion is fragile. I am not interested in fragile foundations. I am interested in strength. When presence confirms alignment, confidence multiplies. When presence exposes incompatibility, clarity saves time. Either outcome is valuable because it eliminates uncertainty. Uncertainty drains energy. It keeps you in analysis mode. It prevents full commitment. But once reality is observed directly, decisions become easier. You either build or you redirect. There is also something deeper about proximity. Energy synchronizes. You feel whether someone expands you or contracts you. Some people inspire sharper thinking when they are near. Others create distraction. Some elevate your discipline. Others dilute it. If I come to your city, I want to observe that effect. Does being near you sharpen my focus or fragment it? Do we amplify each other's ambition or compete for attention? Does silence feel peaceful or heavy? These are not romantic questions. They are structural questions. Because a relationship at a high level is not built on convenience. It is built on synergy. Synergy means two systems operating together produce more output than they would separately. That can only be measured in presence. Distance allows you to maintain potential energy. Presence converts it into kinetic energy. It either accelerates or stalls. That is why this move matters. And beyond personal connection, there is a lesson here for anyone listening. If something matters, bring it closer to reality. Test it. Validate it. Do not live in perpetual speculation. You want to build a business, build a prototype. You want to change careers, have the conversation. You want to change careers, have the conversation. You want to know if someone is aligned with your future. Meet them, observe, engage. Speculation creates anxiety. Action creates clarity. When you operate with intention and then validate through presence, you reduce regret. You stop wondering what is. You start knowing what is. Coming to your city is not about travel. It is about transition. Transition from possibility to proof, from conversation to confirmation, from idea to experience. And when you live your life this way, intentionally investing time only where potential exists and demanding reality over illusion, you stop wasting years on misalignment. You start engineering outcomes. That is the standard. That is the mindset. And that is why movement, when it happens, is never random. It is deliberate. It is calculated. And it is driven by the belief that something real deserves to be tested in the real world. If I step into your city, understand this clearly. I am not arriving to observe passively. I am not arriving to entertain uncertainty. I am not arriving to play small. When I move with full presence. Half measures waste energy. Indecision wastes time. If something deserves attention, it deserves intentionate. It deserves intentionally. Playing small is a defense mechanism. It protects you from disappointment. It protects you from vulnerability. It protects you from vulnerability to you from exposure. But it also protects you from expansion. And I am not built for containment. I am built for scale. When I show up with questions that matter, not surface level conversations that orbit around comfort. I want to understand how you think under pressure. I want to see how you respond when plans change unexpectedly. I want to feel whether your ambition is a statement or a lifestyle. Because words are easy, execution is rare. If we sit across from each other, I will not be measuring charm. I will be measuring alignment. Does your energy push forward or pull backward? Do your goals require growth or validation? Are you building something meaningful or simply chasing attention? These are not criticisms. They are calibration points. I do not evaluate from ego. I evaluate from long-term vision, because short-term chemistry without structural compatibility creates collapse. And collapse is inefficient. Playing small and connection looks like avoiding real topics. It looks like pretending you are less ambitious to avoid intimidating someone. It looks like downplaying standards to maintain comfort. I refuse that model. If we are exploring something real, it must be explored honestly. If you have expectations, voice them. If you have boundaries, define them. If you have fears, articulate them. Transparency accelerates clarity. I am not coming to perform. I am coming to determine whether what we have discussed conceptually can operate practically. Can we exist in the same environment and both feel stronger? Can we challenge each other without insecurity? Can we disagree without destabilizing respect? If the answer is yes, then this is not casual. It becomes intentional expansion. And here is the reality most people avoid. Growth requires courage from both sides, which leads to the final truth. I expect courage. Courage is not dramatic. Max subtle and consistent. It is the willingness to drop the mask, the willingness to risk being misunderstood, the willingness to risk being misunderstood, the willingness to express what you truly want instead of what sounds acceptable. When two people meet at a high level, there is temptation to impress rather than reveal, to showcase strengths and conceal vulnerabilities. But that strategy builds fragile foundations, because eventually the concealed parts surface, and when they do, the structure shakes. I would rather see everything clearly from the beginning. Courage means you are not afraid to be seen in full context, your ambition, your doubts, your past, your expectations. It means you are secure enough in your identity that honesty does not feel threatening. And I will bring that same energy. If something concerns me, I will say it. If something excites me, I will express it. If something feels misaligned, I will address it directly, not aggressively, not emotionally, but clearly, because clarity is respect. Most relationships fail not from lack of attraction, but from lack of courageous communication. People assume instead of asking. They withdraw instead of addressing. They tolerate instead of refining. Over time, silence compounds into distance. I do not build that way. Courage also means being willing to walk away if alignment is not real. That is strength. Staying in something misaligned because you fear loss is weakness disguised as loyalty. True loyalty begins after compatibility is confirmed. When I come to your city, I am not just evaluating whether we enjoy each other's presence. I am evaluating whether we expand each other's future. Do our visions integrate? Do our lifestyles complement? Do our standards reinforce rather than conflict? Expansion is the metric. If being together sharpens thinking, increases discipline, amplifies creativity, and strengthens emotional stability, that is synergy. If it introduces confusion, insecurity, distraction, or dilution of purpose, that is misalignment. And I will not ignore that data. Courage requires emotional maturity. It requires the ability to hear feedback without defensive. It requires the discipline to adjust when improvement is needed. It requires confidence that is internal, not dependent on praise. If you can stand fully in who you are while still remaining open to growth, that is powerful. That is rare. That is the type of energy that scales, because the future is not built on intensity alone. It is built on adaptability and strength combined. It is built on two individuals who can handle proximity without losing individuality, who can challenge each other without ego battles. It built on two individuals who can challenge each other without ego battles, who can pursue massive goals without feeling threatened by each other's success. That is what I am looking for. Not perfection, not performance, not temporary excitement, truth, strength, alignment, courage. If I travel across distance, it is because I believe something significant might exist, and significant things deserve bold energy. So when I arrive, understand this: I am not coming to test feelings. I am not coming to test foundation. I am not coming to create illusion. I am not coming to observe reality. I am not coming cautiously. I am coming cautiously. And if we both show up with the same level of courage and clarity, then what begins in one city does not remain confined to geography. It becomes direction. So when I say I'm coming to your city, understand that it represents more than travel. It represents intention turning into action. One soul. It represents intention turning into action. It represents potential being tested by reality. It represents two people deciding whether what they've built in conversation can survive in presence. I don't believe in dragging uncertainty. I believe in confronting it. I don't believe in playing small to protect comfort. I believe in showing up fully and allowing truth to decide the outcome. If alignment is real, it will expand when we stand face to face. If it isn't, clarity will save us time. Either way, growth wins. This is how you should approach your own life. Stop letting important things live only in imagination. Bring them into reality. Test them. Validate them. Have the conversation. Make the move. Close the distance between idea and execution. Make the move. Close the distance between idea and execution. Because expansion only happens when you're willing to step forward with courage and let reality respond. Thank you for watching.